need them to face into this area here. Right, so now I need to get to the rear of the case to start installing the brackets for the new cooler. Right, I've turned it over and you can see the back of the CPU with the holes for where the bracket's going to go. So, if you see this, I need to get the back plate with the caution bit facing the motherboard. And depending on which bracket you've got, depends on which of these positions you place the screws. You get 4 of these, and they're not screws because they haven't got anything on the back. You have a thread, and then there's 4 of these little metal clips that clip on afterwards. So we need to, alright, there are triangles. Because on the diagram there's triangles, but I couldn't see where that'd fit in. You see right at the end of the cap, the triangle bit. That'll fit into these, depending which way around you need. Apparently for my one, need them to face into this area here. So like that. A different one, and they face there. It's just slightly different positions depending on the bracket you have. And then when you've got it in position, you clip those black plastic. Don't know if it matters which way up they go. There you go. Slides on there for a bit of effort. Right, I've got those in place. This bit's going to be a bit awkward. Need to place that on there. When I turn this over, it's going to obviously drop out, so I'll probably have to do that off camera. Actually, this cable might hold it, I don't know. Seems to be the gist of it. It's lined up with the plate. It's supposed to keep the plate, installed plate on the back, depending on your model. So I'm going to have to turn this over now without this falling out of position and get back to on the other side. So we've got these brackets, depending on which bracket or chip or whatever you want to call it you've got. Depends on where these holes go, where these bits. Basically, as long as it's on there straight. In my case, got the first position, which is the one's nearest. And so depending on which way round you want the cooler to be blowing, so air blowing that way, you have them upright like this. If you want it to be blowing up, the fan are facing up, then you can have them like this. I'm going to be having it going that way. So you've got to put on the spacers first. Now in my case they're the black spacers, but there are also blue ones, dark blue ones supplied, which if you've got a different type. So I've got to put these on here. And then got to put this on, and it fitting into position 1 might be quite tricky with the RAM and the camera in the way. There you go. So got it in position 1 and 1. That just makes sure that you've got it on there straight. Do the same for the other side now. Don't know if the lighting's good enough because I've got it on its side and the ceiling lights can't really get to it. I've got a window behind me. It's there in place now. Now I've got to put on these thumb screws, though they do have a screwdriver slot as well. Just make sure the bars, curved side of the bars are facing outwards, which they are. And then it says gently tighten the screws. And gently tighten the screws until they stop, but do not use excessive force. So I'm going to start to attach these. And do one at the top of each just to kind of just give them a little alternating between each one, just to make sure they feel like they've screwed on evenly. Right, just got a screwdriver. Just going to give them a little, I'll see, maybe quarter turn at most, maybe not even that. Right. Like more like an eighth of a turn. I feel like they're resisting now. Got to take the fan off this so I can get access to these screws here. And good job of showing that. These two screws here, they're going to, I had it the wrong way around then. They're going to feed onto these posts here. It's got a thread on, and they're going to screw over the top, and that's all that's going to hold it in place. So to remove the fan, there's these clips at the side, and they'll just go in between there. Pull them back slightly, and then they just lift off. There we go. Right, so I'm going to take this plastic case off now, just so I've got access to the paste at the bottom of the heatsink. It seems to just pop off in each corner. There you go. I'm trying to get on with this to make sure I don't get any dust sticking on there. Just going to have one more just clean on here. I know I've cleaned it enough, but just in case there's any dust that's got on it in the meantime. Right, so in we go. This is awkward. Get it on the things. Don't think it's made contact yet with the chip, so hopefully it's not touched the adhesive yet. I'm trying to do a turn each time. And 2 turns, so it's 2 to 3 turns. I can hear noises now. Let's then repeat until they're fully tightened. And that's kind of supporting itself now. I've been holding it up until this point. Just gently tighten the screws until they stop, but do not use excessive force. Again, max torque, 0.6 nanometers. I think it's nanometers, I'm not sure. Anyway, why would it be nanometers? Newton? Probably Newton per meter. Newton meters? I don't know. Right, that has stopped now. That has stopped. I think I might put the fan on this side to suck air in, push it through there. Then the fan, the exhaust fan at the back, can do the other part. Got these rubber bits, and then I've got to make sure I'm blowing in the right direction. Yeah, you've got arrows on the side. Pretty much all fans have. That arrow shows which direction it spins, and that shows which direction the airflow is. So I'll be needing it on there. You want these anti-vibration bits on the side that you've got it up against. So you want to be aware of how far on you're putting it. You might go too far or too, basically have an overlap with the end. That's not poking out too much. In case, let's say I've got a fairly even gap both sides. Right, now what we've got to do is install the cable. Which is now kicking around up here. The cable has bent itself up and out of the way, so you don't have to worry about up here, back on itself. And I think that's about that. Need to obviously turn it on and check it runs. There we go.